My 5 favorite house rules. And number 1, I actually used for years before there was, much content out on Gloomhaven. There was like threads on BGG and stuff like that. But before Gloomhaven got really big, I was using this house rule. And these house rules, and there's a million of them. Let me know which ones you like as well down in the comments. But these ones are house rules I feel that address some of the problems with the game, or some things that I just maybe didn't feel were the funnest. If that makes sense. I wanted to make sure that these weren't game breaking. It's not like, take all the gold that's left over and divide it amongst the party. There's nothing like that. Although, just to be clear, I'm not being judgmental about that. That's not a house rule for me. But in my opinion, board gaming is about connection. It's about playing with your friends. It's about enjoying a shared experience. And so anything that increases the enjoyment for your group is 100% cool for me. So just know that, even though I'm saying that, there's no judgment at all. You do you. It's important that you have fun with your board game. I'm like in the middle. I'm a guy who likes playing the rules as written, and I prefer not to step outside of that. But if I really feel like I need to, I will. Okay, let's get started with number 5. At number 5, I have Mulligan battle goals. So you can take 2 battle goals, choose one. That's normal. What I like to do is I like to mulligan if the first 2 are no good. And there's a bunch of battle goals. I think battle goals are poorly designed. That's my personal opinion, because a lot of them lead to things that are no fun. So let's start there. Things that are no fun. Streamliner. Have 5 or more cards in your hand. What if you're a scoundrel? You've got 9 cards. You're going to have 5 or more cards in your hand at the end of a scenario. 1, you probably can't do it. You probably just can't do it. So this should probably fit into you can't do it too. But it's also no fun. You don't get to play your losses. Anything you're going to, long rest more, etc. to try and preserve your stamina. It's not a fun thing to do. The next one is indigent. Loot no money tokens or treasure overlay tiles during the scenario. Boo. You want to collect no money, no nothing? I mean, it's just not fun. It's really not fun. The next is purist. Use no items during the scenario. Take one part of the gameplay and just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not hard. It takes no skill. I mean, it can make the scenario harder for you, but the actual act doesn't take any skill. And that's what I don't like about it. So those ones, I think they're no fun. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you enjoy the battle goals. At a certain point, lots of times, you don't even want to take perks. That's foreshadowing for later. Sometimes you don't even want to take perks, so you could just ignore your battle goals. But early on, you're trying to get those check marks, and I think that we want to have fun battle goals. Another one: kill an undamaged monster with a single attack during the scenario. Some classes literally can't do that, especially at higher levels, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 level, scenario 3+. You can't. Some classes pretty much can't do it. And yeah. Anyways, protector. Allow none of your character allies to become exhausted during the scenario. Allow them? How are you allowing them? You have no control over this. What if you're playing with some guy who likes to, go ham and exhaust on the 8th turn every time? You have no chance of getting that. There's just no way of you have no control over that situation. Okay, let's go positive. What's a good example of a battle goal? Explorer. Reveal a room tile by opening a door on your turn during the scenario. This can be hard to do for some classes, but I think what it does is it creates a good risk to reward balance. You've got to decide and go and open a door. Sometimes that puts you in danger. Sometimes you don't have enough move. If you only have 4 move to get to the door and you're 4 away and you don't have any extra move to move out of the way of ranged monsters that you're going to load up or whatever, you can put yourself in some danger. I think there's a good risk to reward ratio. You're in control of it for the most part. And so that's a good example. So yeah, Mulligan, draw 2 more cards, but only 1 more time. There's, only so far I'm willing to go. At number 4, we have perks are optional. In the beginning when you're playing Gloomhaven, you're just like, perks, perks, perks. You're working super hard for your battle goals. And then after you've retired a bunch of characters who are in the same lineage, if that doesn't make sense to you, go watch my video, 20 Common Rules Mistakes. There's a link down in the description, and that will tell you what that means. But essentially, every time you retire a class, you get an extra perk to start with. And then you up your prosperity, and so you get a perk for every prosperity. And so sometimes you're starting out with like over 10 perks, and some of the classes, the perks are poorly designed, and you literally don't even want all the perks. You may only want 50% of them. And so as you move through the game, you want to min-max more. You want to do more specific builds. And so in the beginning, this house rule, it didn't even exist to us. But by the end, we were like, I don't want this perk. And so we're just like, you know what? Perks are optional. At number 3, we have personal quests. And so to me, unlocking classes in Gloomhaven is the most exciting part of the game. It drove my group to play Gloomhaven all the time, to get it to the table pretty much every week for a very long time, because we wanted to see that next cool class. To me, it's very underwhelming to unlock a random item design. So every unlockable class and envelope X have 2 personal quest cards. So literally 2 people could get the same one, and then they could be working towards it. One is 80% done, and then the other, person is like, yes, I unlocked it. And you have the same one. And so you went from working your butt off to get a good personal quest done and unlock a really cool class to watching your friend unlock that class and being like, oh, this is so sick. Look at this new class. Oh, all the build possibilities, stuff like that. And you're like, I get a random item design. Boo. So such a boo on that. We were like, that's not happening. We're not doing that. It's too exciting to unlock a class, and it's not exciting enough to unlock a random item design. So make sure you sit down and say, I am unlocking this symbol. If you want to play this house rule, I am unlocking this symbol. Is anyone else going to unlock it? No? Good. I shall continue. I hope you're liking the video so far. If you are, please go ahead and hit the like button. It really helps me out a lot. It helps YouTube to share this video to other people who love Gloomhaven content. And also, if you could subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, that's the little bell, so that when I publish new content, you're notified. And also, I work with Noble Knight Games. They're a huge board game and other game warehouse, card games, collectible, stuff, miniatures, paints, anything you need that's rare, hasn't been published for a while. They've just got an amazing amount of selection. So if you're looking for that old component, they've probably got it. They've got the largest game selection in the world. Go ahead, check them out. I've got a link down in the description. If you buy anything through that link, you're helping support this channel. I'm a small channel. I need your support. Let's get to number 2. At number 2, we have endurance potions. So stamina potions in the game are broken. As you play the game more, you realize how badly you can abuse them to abuse certain characters', most powerful cards. Has almost nothing to do with longevity, their power, although that is also an extra benefit. So some prominent members in the community went and they created an alternative to the stamina potions. I'm putting it up, it's up on the screen here so you can read through it. And essentially what you're doing is you're gonna you're going to use it just for the longevity portion. So you've got to play a basic action, then you can grab that card right back. If you use this on turns when you have an odd amount of cards in your hand, you can get back an extra turn each time. Think about it this way. If you got 9 cards in your hand, and you play 2 cards each turn, you're going to be left with 1 card in your hand. If you play 1 for a basic action, you get it back, and that's going to give you 5 turns in that rest cycle instead of 4. So this is just to combat stamina potions being really broken. I've never actually used this rule while playing. I've never actually used this item, but I think it's a great item, and if I ever do start a brand new campaign, I will definitely be subbing these in so that, because stamina potions just break things to a level you probably don't want to break them. If you're new, this won't matter. If you've played for a while, this is a great solution to fixing stamina potions. So, I'm not going to talk about advantage and disadvantage house rules. There are so many out there. The rules as written work, but they kind of mess with it, and people don't like how it works because essentially with rolling modifiers on advantage, you can roll into a miss, and disadvantage, there's problems with disadvantage too. I don't want to get too far into it. There's like 50 different house rules. Go Google them up, see what makes the most sense for you. But just know that the 2-stack method, that method is going to make you drastically more powerful, a lot of classes. So I wouldn't use the 2-stack method, but there are definitely some things out there that make sense. Okay, let's talk about number 1. Number 1 is not locking in your level up choices. And there's kind of 2 options here. Option number 1 is that instead of at each level you picking a card and locking it in, you just allow yourself to pick 1 card from each level. This is how we played through the majority of my campaign, because when you're playing once a week, like we played the campaign for almost 2 years, you can get locked into a class for 15 weeks if you play 1 scenario a week, 20 weeks sometimes, maybe even a little bit more. I mean, you're getting up near half a year, and that's a long time to lock in your choices. We always like to, be able to have that flexibility, say, you know what, this choice wasn't working out for me, especially in the beginning when we were just bumbling around in early 2017 and there was hardly any threads or anything. We just didn't know what worked, and we didn't know what was going to be fun, and we didn't know how things interacted. And so we quickly implemented this rule to just allow ourselves to try out various builds with the class that we may never come back to play. Right? Like you may never play the class again in your life. And so it sucks to not have that flexibility. The other option, and I didn't play this one, but of course I do my research before I do these videos. Out there is an option to, keep your choices not locked until you hit the next level. So you get to level 3, you take your 2 cards, you pick one, but you can switch anytime before you get to level 4. And that gives you some time to try, but also allows you to lock in your choices, because locking in your choices also allows you to go back and pick 2 cards from level 3, say, or level 4, any level. Whereas my first solution, it doesn't allow you to do that. You don't get to pick 2 level 4 cards. You pick 1 from every single level. And although you can switch back, it does kind of, stop you from making some builds where you would pick both level 4 cards or something like that. I think my voice is starting to go a little bit here. This is my 3rd video in a row I've shot. Anyways, that's it. That's number 1. Make sure you comment below. Let me know what your favorite house rules are and why. And thank you so much for watching, and especially thanks to my subscribers. I would not be here without you. I really appreciate it.